everybody, this is Kohdok here, and it's time for some more Wave 3. Wave 3 introduced some more starter packs. Wave 2 is pretty much just the single packs, but in this case, we have a brand new Wave 3 pack featuring the piece de resistance, Chaos Mantanoid. What? Chaos Army, transform and rise up! Oh, but I jest. What we actually have here, is a Pyrus Fangzor Ultra. Fangzor Ultra is probably the big attraction in this box, although another thing I'm definitely going to be taking a look at in here is the checklist. Now, this is part of the Battle Brawlers line, which means that the additional cards included should all be from the first set, the Battle Brawlers set, but the checklist should be updated. It should be the new Wave 3 checklist, and the reason there was another set that also had a Tertonium, but the reason I picked this set is because it had two Bakugan that I didn't already own. The Tertonium set only had one, and that was Tertonium itself, and I'm pretty sure it comes in a solo. Gortheon Ultra also comes in a solo. But we have a look at the Fangzor Ultra. I got to take a look at it at Toy Fair, and yeah, it's a big boy in there. We'll have to see how it reflects. We also have the Chaos Mantanoid Core. I haven't figured out how to get my hands on a Mantanoid Ultra yet in Chaos, and Aurelus Nilius, who's been on this channel, what, like twice already? Anyway, taking a quick look at the back, we have the complexity gauge up here. This guy is supposedly a complexity gauge 1, although I found these complexity gauges to be pretty dang unreliable. So, let's take a quick look at the back. We have, we actually have a different color scheme for the prototype Fangzor. This one uses the lipstick red plastic, whereas the one depicted on the back has a lot more orange plastic mixed in. That's kind of interesting, although I can see why they changed it. This orange color, except for maybe the rattle back here, although it's supposed to be a Cobra, this orange plastic just suddenly here kind of breaks it up, kind of makes it look less snake-like, and it already has some problems in there, but yeah, there we go. Complexity 1 Bakugan Ultra, 2 Bakugan, 6 Baku Cores, 3 ability cards, and 3 character cards. So it again has the Dragonoid and the Hydorus Ultra. The Baku Storage, the Bakugan Battle Arena. The Battle Arena has been kind of a bust, if I understand correctly. I mean, people aren't really buying it because it's just not big enough to roll on. They did show off that mat at Emerald City Comic Con, which we'll have to see if they sell that. The problem with the one they had at ECCC is that it was huge, and I don't know if they could sell half mats because each player would be required to have a mat in order for it to work, but the huge one would be really expensive. Anyway, it's just like the others for Wave 1, so let's have a look inside. It's the Wave 1 checklist. Ultra Fangzor's instructions are printed on the back of the Wave 1 checklist. Well, honestly, I think that speaks for itself. Anyway, moving on to the actual contents, what we have in this Wave 3 3-pack. We, of course, have Pyrus Fangzor Ultra. In this case, it is a 404, which is par for the course, but it's a double helix. The Helix strategy has proven to be pretty interesting since it has so many ups and downs and interesting abilities. None of the Bakugan included in this set have any special abilities, so a par character, even though it brings 2 Helix into play, isn't terribly exciting. I guess I'll have to see what its evolutions are in Resurgence once I'm able to get my hands on some of those cards to really tell you what Fangzor Ultra is about. Then we have Chaos Mantanoid, Double Fist, 502. Not too exciting. I mean, 502 seems to be roughly par for a lot of Chaos, but unlike it's basically a worse Pegatrix, because it does not have Pegatrix's special ability, which turns it into a 704 if it grabs a fist. And since there is so much green fist support in Resurgence, that's a bit of a letdown. And then we have Aurelus Nilius, who we have seen in these videos like 3 times already, so forget it. It also comes with Lava Boost, Dream Illusion, and Seize Chaos. Not very exciting cards. I keep saying they need to throw in some sweeteners. Cindy is coming with Bubble Net, was good. The diamonds, of course, come with their diamond forms, which, you know, could be better. The Ultra Nilius, the Darkest Ultra Nilius, finally came with a rare card. Not a terribly good one, but yeah, I honestly think that some pack sweeteners, maybe containing some more rare or super rare cards, would be great. But anyways, moving on here, after we get rid of you, a quick glossing over the 2 Bakugan, which I have not featured on the show yet. Those being Fangzor Ultra, which is going to be the first Wave 3 Ultra I go over, and Chaos Mantanoid. Like I said, I got this pack because it contained 2 Bakugan that I didn't have, one of which was in Chaos form, although I've already gone over Mantanoid, so we're just going to get Mantanoid out of the way fairly quickly. Chaos Mantanoid, it's exactly like the Ventus Mantanoid, only with the Chaos color scheme. Still has that very basic sort of chunky double scythe design with the tail back there. Like I said, it's not too bad. The Ultra is definitely better, but it's nice to finally get it in Chaos. Anyway, what we're really looking at today is Ultra Fangzor. Oof, boy, that is one awkward design. I mean, like with all the other Ultras, because it doesn't appear on the central tire, it doesn't affect things, but look at the size of these things protruding off of this marble here. I mean, Jet Kuso pointed out in one of his videos that the fact that they don't actually interfere with the tire means it's not as big a problem as it used to be, but man, this thing is kind of ugly. I mean, we'll get to take a look at some of the detail in a bit, but yeah, like I've said in the past, I'm not a fan of these kinds of, you know, these massive protrusions coming off of the side here. It'll be interesting to see if they were actually necessary with the design, but anyway, this is our Pyrus Fangzor Ultra. Like other Pyrus Bakugan, it has this sort of candy, like lipstick red, a slight with you know, a slightly bluish hue there, which means it's very good at making the citrus green and this orange it really helps it pop against this, because these sort of bright yellowish colors will definitely appear more prominently against blue. This is definitely something that I love that they focused on in the new line, is making sure that the color design is really nice and out there. And also, looking around on the whole thing, except for like the very bottom, well, even the very bottom looks really nice. This all around looks really nice in its ball form, aside from this ugly mess back here, although that's because of, you know, its crazy slinky closure method. But it's nice to see that they put a bit of work into detail into these sort of eyeballs here, these sorts of fans. You see these sorts of circles on a lot of Bakugan. It might be on wings, although in the case of Fangzor, it is instead on the body. We even have some nice texture here, the texture of sort of a snake's belly on this side here. That's also really nice. Anyway, let's take a look with a quick comparison to Core Fangzor here. So, Core Fangzor also has some of those hinges going on, although they still manage to fold those hinges into the body of the actual Bakugan. Both of these have a lot of fantastic design on the outside, although the Ultra Fangzor, again, like a lot of the other Ultras, they went out of the way to make sure that we got that nice popping green here, although looking at it now, it kind of looks like an angry spider face. Like, it's got the eyes here, the little angry eyebrows, and the teeth. It's an angry spider face. You can see how it has a very basic design on the Fangzor over here, although it does still have the fangs and stuff like that. You can kind of see this is how the two, yeah, this is how the two compare right here. Like, these are basically the same thing, although the Ultra Fangzor has them both smaller and more intricately designed, and we'll see why once we open it. And here we have our Fangzor Ultra. He's a big boy. You can see just how much real estate he takes up compared to the likes of Mantanoid over here. Yeah, this is a very, very tall Bakugan, although he picks it up with his head, although let's get it off of here. At the same time, I have seen some rather conflicted opinions on how this guy looks, because I'm going to say it, this big platform right here kind of damages the aesthetic of Fangzor looking like a snake. I mean, I guess the idea is that it has like a second set of spikes like at its hips that can also jab poison, and that's what these are supposed to be. But at the same time, it looks kind of awkward. If they'd maybe made this a different color to make it not look like part of his body and make it like this was supposed to be its body, that might have worked a little bit better. Although, the reason they had to do this is because it's an Ultra and the magnet is in its head, it cannot be supported by the card. That's the thing, is a lot of Bakugan in the original series were able to rear up and show off their stuff because they were magnetized to the big heavy gate card, which, unlike a Bakucore, would not flop over if they do so. Although it does have the posture that I was expecting the regular Fangzor to have. Although I've discovered the regular Fangzor, the fact that it does that big lunge means it has a chance of knocking away opponents. But taking a look here at the profile, it is quite large, even compared to regular Fangzor, who we'll have here for comparison. Regular Fangzor still appears to be a bit longer, but it doesn't have like that big like upwards cobra stance that we see with Fangzor Ultra. Although I think upon inspection, this Fangzor might actually, the regular Fangzor might actually be a little better than the Ultra. Part of the way it's designed to have like this long slinky effect, which keeps it together. Like this tucks into here, tucks into there, tucks over this, tucks into that, tucks into that. It's kind of funny. It actually is probably the easiest Ultra to transform because it literally just folds up like an accordion. It's very, very simple. Now, taking another look, we of course have some more marks on the front as well. We have the head here with like just a pair of like itty bitty, like you can see that like with my my pointer right next to it, like these tiny little kind of poor excuses for fangs, but the little eyeballs on the inside here, these are very, very nicely detailed. They have some very strong design work on them, which is always nice to see. I always love to see that improved design. We, of course, have some nice details on the eyes. We have some interesting extra detail on the face. It does have a lot of really nice detail. As a whole, though, I still think it looks a bit funny, considering the other Ultras we've seen. Although this one, the paint here, the fact that the paint didn't quite settle correctly actually gives it a nicer look. It gives it sort of you can sort of see like the dark red like still coming through a tiny bit. That gives it a bit of a nicer look, in my opinion. It makes it look like it's gotten a wash or something. Although another interesting decision is they've actually taken a bunch of the red pieces and just flat out painted them orange. Although, like we saw on the back of the box, that actually makes perfect sense to me, because as long as the paint, as long as like we still see this plastic red, it helps make the design more unified. We can see this all as one thing rather than a weird jumble of awkwardly colored parts. So I can see why they made that change. It makes perfect sense to me. Looking on the bottom, we have a bit of that pattern on the tail. We have the pattern which runs all the way up the tail. There we have the B power right there, 400. Although that looks kind of cool, like a snake that's been hunched down. We of course have the factory code there. But yeah, I have some mixed thoughts on this one. I'm loving a lot of the detail, a lot of that intricate design work. That's really a big part of what makes a Fangzor to me, is having all that extra work done into it. But this sort of awkward hip mechanism right here really kind of, and the overall just sort of slinky design doesn't really help that much. I mean, when you take a look at Mechard's take on this whole thing, and it actually looks better than this, that's a bit of a room for judgment. There are, I know, a lot of people who like the Fangzors out here. I don't know if this is quite as good as a lot of the other Fangzors. Although it's probably a bit better than a lot of the other Bakugan, which are just a ball with a head and a little tail coming out. So it's definitely an improvement over that. And when I said it was the easiest one, I meant it was the easiest one. Watch this. It just kind of just folds together and it's done. Yeah, definitely. This is like a level 0. If Garganoid Ultra is a level 4, this thing's a level 0 for difficulty, because it's by far been the easiest Ultra to transform. What happens if a core comes off like that? I don't know. It's done that once already because it's a gigantic coiled snake. Although, fun part is you can close, or at least, yeah, there we go. You can close it off and just have that part there, so it looks like, I don't know, like a little caterpillar or something like that. Those little eyes up there. It's like a little bug. I kind of like that half transformed Fangzor state. It looks kind of funny. And if you fold it up the rest of the way, we have ourselves another Pac-Man. Waka 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 waka. Yeah, that's pretty amusing, this thing. So it does definitely have a lot of fun going for it. I know I had some fun there, but yeah, that's a look at Ultra Fangzor, the Pyrus Ultra Fangzor. Remember the 3-pack? I know there's also an Auralist Fangzor. I did not see that one. I think that one comes in a 5-pack. But it has a really strong Evo that you can play for free if you've taken 20 damage. So, yeah, that's a look at Pyrus Ultra Fangzor. And until next time, this is Kohdok signing off.